Hello, and welcome to the second video in my little mini-series I have entitled Know Your Role. This is the engineer class. This is by no means an advanced video by any means. It's basically just kind of, if you've never played Battlefield or you just started playing Battlefield, this is kind of a little introduction to the class, some of the things about the class, equipment, stuff like that. Real general stuff, and even if you've been playing for a while, it's possible that by watching this video you could learn a thing or two, or maybe a tip or a trick that can help you out down the road. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time like I did on my other video, because I don't want this to be a two-part video. It just seems really bad that when you have to split a video, because everybody doesn't watch the second part, I guess. So I'm going to try to keep this one short, try not to go off on any tangents, get straight into some gameplay, give you my thoughts, my ideas on different equipment for the engineer. We've got the repair tool, RPGs, Javelin, Stinger, your anti-tank mines, and your EOD bots. So let's jump straight into some gameplay, and I'll ramble on from there. So let's move on over. Alright, let's start off with the repair tool, the engineer's best friend. The first thing you should know about this, if you're ever in a vehicle and you need to do a repair, whatever way you're facing, just like that, whatever way you're facing when you go to exit, you will exit whatever way the gun is facing. So if you're taking damage from the front, you want to try to spin that gun around, so when you exit it puts you behind the fire, so you can kind of use the tank as a shield to help protect you while you repair. That's probably one of the greatest things that you can do. It doesn't always work in the heat of the battle, because it takes forever for your turret to spin around for you to get out. So sometimes you just got to bail out and chance it to see if you can't get repaired in time. But if you do have time and you can spin around, spin around away from the action, exit. When you jump back in, it's going to put you in the exact same location that you exited from, and you can go back to destroying some people. The repair tool has, many functions. Not only can you repair your own vehicles with it, you can disrepair enemy vehicles. So you can destroy enemy vehicles just like you repair your own friendly vehicles. I think it when it comes to disrepairing, it actually works faster than repairing. And sometimes when you jump out to repair, you're not always going to survive. Good chances are, you're going to die quite a few times, but it's the chance that you take when you're getting out to repair your vehicle. Sometimes, hopefully you have this is a pretty good example of why it's good to have different classes in your squad with you, so that if you do go down, just like right here, I'm repairing this tank with a buddy of mine, and I go down, he jumps out, kills the guy who killed me, revives me, and I basically just go back to repairing our tank. And this is a deadly combination. If you've ever played against somebody who's rolling in a tank and they've got 2 or 3 guys behind him repairing him, you know how big of a pain in the ass it is to try to kill that tank, because it's almost invincible if there's 2 guys behind a tank and it's just plowing through people, and you got 2 guys repairing it constantly. You can't take it down unless you kill whoever's repairing it first. So that's something you always need to look at. If you're shooting a tank and it's not dying, chances are there's people behind it repairing it, and that's your top priority, is to take out the engineers behind the tank that are repairing it before you go about trying to blow up the tank or destroy the tank. Another thing that you can do is, in the recon and the transport helicopters, you're able to repair while you're in the helicopter. So if this is a pretty good example of me trying to shoot down this helicopter, and you can see there's a guy repairing it. If you watch real close, if you get there in the sides of that, you can repair it. You find that sweet spot, and you just keep on repairing it as you're taking damage, and it makes it extremely hard to take a helicopter down. right, wait for it, you can see sparks right here, see it? Off the left side there? That is a guy inside there repairing this helicopter, and I mean, this thing is taking some serious damage, but yet it's still in the air because this guy is in there just constantly repairing it. I don't believe it shows you actually receiving points while you're in the helicopter, but it is working nevertheless. I think this next clip that I got is me attempting to disrepair a tank, but it doesn't turn out so well. This is one of the toughest things to do in the game, is get close enough to a tank to disrepair it. It can be done if you're in the right spot at the right time, and you can sneak up on somebody and they can't see you. You can rip a tank apart. And this last little video clip I threw in here, it's part of a challenge for the new achievement to unlock for the engineer for the gun. But it is possible to repair tool kill oblivious mortar guys. They don't ever see it coming. So let's move on to the next equipment. Alright, let's talk Javelin here. The Javelin is actually, since they did in the patch, is a lot better item to be carrying with you because it's a one-shot disable now after the patch, and its sole basis is basically for land vehicles, locking on, just shooting, and not having to worry about line of sight, because it's more like a guided missile once you get lock on and shoot. If a tank has IR smoke, they basically can break your lock by deploying smoke. It is possible for a Javelin to lock onto a helicopter or a jet, but in order for it to do that, you have to have somebody who has a soul flame, and they basically have to spot the helicopter or jet for you, and then you can lock onto it and shoot it with your Javelin. But it's a pretty powerful unit, and I like it a lot, especially after the patch. Like I say, it's a lot more damage dealt, I guess, with one shot. You definitely, if you're gonna use the Javelin, you want to use the explosive perk so you can carry more rockets with you. It just comes in handy because it's, I mean, as you can see, it's pretty effective at what it does. And if somebody soul flames, right here is a pretty good example. See the diamond in the middle with the dot? That's how you know that somebody has basically laser painted, designated the tank or the vehicle or the helicopter, and that's how you can shoot it. Up next, we got the Trustee RPG. These things are great for killing about anything as long as you have a good line of sight. Taking out vehicles does a really good job. Just remember, when you're shooting RPGs at people, they can kind of see, I mean, depending on where they're at, can see where you're shooting from. So you always want to be constantly moving around and trying to adjust and get better, you know, vantage points on them. And tanks take the most damage in the rear or on the side. If you shoot them straight on, that's where they got the most armor. So whenever you're shooting RPGs, try to jockey around and get behind them or to the side of them, and then take your shot. As far as taking out helicopters and jets and stuff like that, RPG not so good because they're just moving so fast that you got to lead them so far to be able to take them out. But as far as like infantry and stuff like that, RPGs make short works of guys, and I mean, when you're packing them, it's just a real versatile explosive, more or less, that you can just kind of use for whatever the situation calls for. I really love this RPG kill right here. This is probably one of the funniest ones I've seen. And as you can see, this guy gets blown to the moon. Alright, let's see, what do we got coming out next? Alright, let's talk EOD bot and tank mines here in the same clip, just to kind of save on time. The EOD bot is, if you've ever used it, it is hard as hell to drive. It is one squirrely little bugger. But its advantages are, if you can control this thing, you can repair vehicles with it. It has no cooldown, so you can constantly be repairing vehicles with it. You can destroy tank mines, claymores, or C4 with it. You can also disrepair vehicles with it. And as you see here, you can also kill unsuspecting people. But don't plan on doing that every time, because a few shots and your EOD bot's dead. As far as tank mines go, I really liked the tank mines before the patch, but now after the patch is over with, since the patch I should say, you can only have 6 mines out on the playing field at any given time. It was before, every time you respawned you could put down 6 and they would stay there, but they've done away with that, and now if somebody spots your mines when you're playing, they show up constantly. So I've kind of gone back to carrying the repair tool with me, just because the mines just aren't as effective as they used to be, but they're still a really good tool to use. Alright, up next we've got the Stinger missiles. This is basically a lot like the Javelin, but just for the air. Once you get lock on, it's kind of a fire and forget type rocket, even though since the patch, one Stinger missile will now disable any flying vehicle. So I mean they've gotten a lot better and a lot more powerful, but you always want to be ready to shoot a second one of these right after you shoot the first one, because more than likely they're going to deploy flares, or it's just going to disable the vehicle, and if you want that kill you really got to get in there and shoot a couple rockets at them. One thing to note is depending on how good the helicopter pilot or jet pilot that you're flying against, when you're shooting Stingers at them, if they know what they're looking for, they will not deploy their flares until you've actually shot your rocket. And if you've ever been in a helicopter, or if you haven't, this next clip that I threw in just kind of to give you guys an idea of what it sounds like when you're in a helicopter. Okay, so basically what you're looking for when you're flying and you hear that starting to beep, and it beeps faster, that's somebody trying to lock onto you, and then once it goes to a solid tone, that means they have lock on you. Now, if you're an unexperienced pilot, that you're going to deploy your flares right away as soon as you hear that solid tone, because you think that you're a dead man. But if you've been flying for a while and you're familiar with this sound, you know that the rocket's not in the air yet. And if you hear the beeping after the solid tone, it starts to beep really fast, that means that there's a rocket in the air, and that's about the time that you want to deploy your flares. So if you're playing against a really good pilot, he's not going to deploy his flares right away. If you're not, and you get lock on, they'll deploy their flares, and then you basically don't have to waste a rocket. You can just let them deploy their flares, get lock on again, and shoot them down. This is just some closing footage of me trying to drive the EOD bot. This thing is really gnarly once it gets going fast, and it's kind of hard to tell which direction you're facing while you're trying to drive it. So it's really rough, but I've seen a lot of people drive these into MCOM stations and set the MCOM or disarm the MCOM with them. So definitely has its role if you have the time and the experience and the patience to learn to drive this thing. It's a handy little tool to have. That about sums this video up. I felt like I kind of had to rush it, and I'm sorry about that. It's just my limitations are 15 minutes right now, so I try to get as much info in here as I could. If I missed anything, please feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know what I missed so that other people can enjoy as well. If you like what I'm doing, please take a second to either like this video, or if you don't, dislike it. I'm all for equal opportunity. If you enjoy my videos, I got a lot more coming up, so please subscribe. Thank you for everybody who has subscribed, left comments. Like I said, I'll try to get back to all you guys as soon as I can, and I hope all is well, and I'll catch you guys on the battlefield. Peace.